right, so we are at this point in our conference. I would like to warmly welcome our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Mujibuddin Sehrai Memon, Vice Chancellor Sindh Madrasatul Islam, University Karachi, which is one of the oldest educational institutions of South Asia, and also the alma mater of the founder of Pakistan, Quaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. His professional experience spans more than 32 years in diverse range of fields. Previously, Professor Dr. Mujibuddin Sehrai Memon was serving as a Vice Chancellor, Sindh Agricultural University, Tandojam, where he had been engaged in the transformation of the university, so bring it at par with the mainstream of higher educational institutions of this country. In recognition of his academic and research performance, he was awarded Best University Teacher Award by Higher Education Commission, Islamabad in the year 2008. With warm welcome, I invite to the stage guest of honor at SIC Conference 2.0, Professor Dr. Mujibuddin Sehrai Memon.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Ishrat Hussain, Dr. Shahnaz Wazir Ali, Dr. Mukhati, Mr. Imtiaz Sheikh, Mr. Javed Qureshi, the organizing committee of the conference. Thank you. At the outset, I am highly pleased to be part of this wonderful conference. If we look into the theme of the conference, we are concentrating on the innovation and the deterrence. So let me take you back to the emergence of the higher education in Pakistan. If we look into the academia, then it is like early first decade of this century where Higher Education Commission emerged and the tertiary education comes into the real scenario and become a partner of the world. And now, since we have around 24 years, and as a HEC, we are having around 22 years. Besides many things, what we found in higher education institutes in Pakistan is the development of the ORIC. The ORIC is Office of Research, Innovation and Commercialization. And the concept behind the ORIC is to encourage and to promote the innovations that comes from the academia and to be linked with the universities. To a certain extent, I must say that we have improved upon, but frankly, these things need further improvement, and particularly on the patron side. When I used to be the Vice Chancellor in Agriculture University, you see in agriculture, I think Dr. Ishrat has been writing a lot on the agriculture economy. So we see being an agriculture country, and you see Pakistan, when I talk about a Pakistan, what we do not had and what we do not have. Look at the overall, whether it is the natural resources, whether these are the energy resources, and agriculture. If you name the 5 main crops in the world, again we will be top 5 in the world. If we talk about the livestock in Pakistan, we are again top 5 in the world. If we talk about the milk in Pakistan and the dairy products in Pakistan, again we are a top 5 in the world. Besides, we are top 5 in the world in the population as well. That's another thing to look into. So what I mean to say that, unfortunately, we have been not really tapping our resources towards the innovation. And the purpose of these centers, those are being developed across the country to link with the world, to link with the local and international industry to see these innovations. So I think this conference is always, I have seen SZABIST always take the challenges and always look into the new ideas, those to be shared at national and international level. I believe that this conference will have a way forward. The last thing which I would like to stress upon the two things. Because when I went through this conference, different panels and the titles of these panels, you have touched upon health, you have touched upon agriculture, you have touched upon higher education, you have touched upon climate change, you have touched upon healthcare and all these things. But the one thing which I would like to be taken care of in the future, which is really an important issue, particularly in present scenario of Pakistan, is the population. Because as much as you enhance your resources and your economy, your population has a linear, rather than non-linear now, interaction with the and a factor. So I think, but besides the population, when I talk, then we shall not forget that the youth sector of this population, which is like a 60% of the population of this time. You know, when I describe the various resources of the energy and the various resources of this country, I talk, agriculture, solar, wind energy and all that. And then I always say the youth energy, which is unfortunately an untapped source of this country at the moment, still. I think that is very challengeable. And that is one of the source which will move away maybe in the next decade. And people like me will be more in population in this country of my age. So I believe that we shall ensure that our youth is not a brain drain, our youth has been properly utilized, and this youth energy is playing a very important role and a decisive role towards the economy of this country. I think much of the time has been taken, and I believe that this conference had yesterday and today is a wonderful sessions. The only thing which I always say in the conclusion sessions particularly of the conference, that please value the inputs, value the resources, value the time. So please, all the proceedings and all the recommendations of this conference shall be shared at national and international level, and particularly at national level, I would say, because these resources and these energies shall need a proper transmission and implementation. So I hope that the organizers of this conference will take care of that. And being a Vice Chancellor of Sindh Madrasatul Islam University, I would love to cooperate and coordinate with regards to the implementation of these recommendations. Please do share with us, and wherever my institute is required to play its role, we will be very happy to share, and we will be very happy to support you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
Our next guest of honor and keynote speaker is Mr. Saiduddin Khan, President, CEO, Assam Microfinance Pakistan Limited. Mr. Saiduddin boasts over 3 decades of extensive and high-level management experience within conventional and Islamic banking sectors across various banks and financial institutions. I'd like to warmly welcome Mr. Saiduddin.
Thank you very much. In fact, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really pleased and honored to be invited by SZABIST University on this occasion to share my views or speak in a distinguished gathering like Dr. Ishrat Sahab. Thank you very much. I've been asked to speak on sustainability. In fact, now sustainability is a buzzword. Everyone talks about sustainability, and the COVID, in fact, about 4 or 5 years back, it brought up this sustainability word in everyone's mind, because that was the first time that the entire globe or the world faced the shock of the century, and then the sustainability word came up. I have been asked to speak briefly on social and environmental sustainability. But I believe that social and environmental sustainability is deeply involved or closely related to business and the model sustainability, 2, the financial sustainability, 3, the economic sustainability, and finally, 4th, the last one is the social sustainability. Because until and unless the institution is not business-wise and model-wise sustainable, it is not financially sustainable, it is not economically sustainable, it won't be able to deliver social responsibilities and deliver as a good social citizen. So let me please allow to very briefly, in terms of business, model, and financial sustainability, explain that ASA Microfinance Bank ranks amongst the top in microfinance sector of Pakistan. ASA is operating in Pakistan since 2008 as a MFI, but then recently in 2022, it was granted banking license by State Bank of Pakistan, followed by commencement of banking operations last year in 2023. In terms of portfolio quality, female empowerment, just discussed in the panel discussion, 96% of our clients are female because we consider that female empowerment is the primary mission in the microfinance sector and should be a primary mission in the microfinance sector. Further, in terms of profitability and even capitalization, ASA Microfinance Bank, alhamdulillah, rank as #1 in the industry. Being a 100% owned subsidiary of ASA International, one of the world's major microfinance institutions operating in 13 countries in Asia and Africa, we have been able to bring foreign investment in Pakistan. We are proud to introduce the well-tested and proven ASA microfinance model for the underprivileged segments, particularly women entrepreneurs in Pakistan. And last but not the least, we have been handsomely contributing to government revenues through taxes and everything. So this much about our financial, business, and economic sustainability. Now coming to the topic that has been assigned to me, the social sustainability. At ASA Microfinance Bank, we believe that true innovation stems from disruption and true progress arises from empowerment. I am glad to share with you some of the initiatives we have undertaken at ASA Microfinance Bank that embody this ethos. Our CSR philosophy is not just a statement, but a guiding principle that directs all our actions towards creating a tangible, positive societal impact. Whether it's through our environmental stewardship projects such as solar panel installations and recycling initiatives, or our commitment to raising awareness about breast cancer. Let me also share with you that we have about 345 branches and service centers. And inshallah, we will be the first financial institution in Pakistan which will be having all solar-powered business places, green energy. And it's also economically sustainable because of the increasing energy prices in Pakistan. We also recognize that our responsibility extends beyond our immediate surroundings. We have partnered with various organizations spanning from healthcare institutions to educational foundations, institutes like LRBT, like Indus Hospital, like SIUT, like the Citizen Foundation, like IBA Karachi even, aligning all our efforts with the sustainable development goals set forth by the United Nations. Our multifaceted CSR initiatives serve as a testament to our dedication to addressing pressing issues in healthcare, education, community development, and environmental sustainability. Lastly, thank you very much, SZABIST University. Thank you very much, all the organizers, and thank you to everyone who has been a part of this journey. Let us all carry the spirit of collaboration and innovation forward as we work towards a brighter and more sustainable tomorrow. Thank you once again.
Our next guest of honor and keynote speaker is Professor Dr. Macario Gaeta, who will be joining us virtually all the way from Philippines. Dr. Gaeta is an adjunct professor at the Philippine Christian University, Manila, Philippines. Professor Macario Gaeta is a distinguished academic with a diverse expertise spanning educational leadership, international hospitality, tourism management, English literature, and language. He is an accomplished presenter and global speaker and prolific researcher, having conducted studies and delivered speeches in over 26 countries across Asia, Europe, and Africa. His research interests encompass a wide array of topics, including cross-cultural EFL differences, cultural heritage tourism, and impact of ICT on education and mental health care. Through his leadership roles and executive contributions to academia, Professor Gaeta continues to be a driving force in advancing knowledge and fostering international collaborations in education and tourism management. Let's welcome Dr. Gaeta via online connection.
I am your keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Gaeta from the Philippine Christian University in Manila, the Philippines. I am the head of Thai and Filipino students for the Graduate School of Education and Business Management. I'm connected with International Hospitality and Tourism Management and also in the English and Language Literature in the Philippines. And I'm also a adjunct faculty in Pakistan, in Indonesia, in India, and other parts of the world. And this coming June 29, I'll be again invited as a keynote speaker in the Association of Filipino Teachers Educators of America in New York City. So in my 26th country, I'm now going to the US to present my paper again for information and communications technology. My presentation is all about the digital, technological, and of course the e-learning competencies among educators in the higher education in the Philippines. Because right now we cannot even pause for a break, but we need to be more critical in terms of using the computer technologies because ICT is utilized to improve the quality of teaching and it is the best practices of teachers. That's according to United Nations in 2017. But technological and digital competencies receive a very strong recommendation in higher education, not only in the Philippines, but also in the entire world. So meaning there is a significant impact on the teachers' daily lives in terms of economic, social, and political aspect, as well as transforming higher education university into the level of teachers' competencies around the world on the effective use of computer technologies. So moving on, this enormous status of ICT have emerged and it has an impact on the Philippines, a developing country which has a cost to the present variety of ICT inventiveness in a pedagogical system like the Commission on Higher Education. It is the Higher Education Commission in Pakistan also, and of course the Department of Education in the Philippines. For the purpose of promoting this pertinent skill improvement in the secondary education, technical education, we call it the Technical Vocational Education Training or TVET, and higher education, priority sectors in the Asia facilitating this what we call the information and communications technology. And then different universities around the world is adapting now. Before we are just planning, but right now all the universities around the world is adapting and diffusing this ICT for teaching and learning to facilitate the convenience and the ability to the programs and the different course offerings, be it globally or internationally. So moving on, teachers acknowledge that they are not of what you call these competencies and have a very low, medium, low digital proficiency particularly when it comes to evaluating the different practices. That's according to Gomez, Pablos, and Company in 2022. But Cabrero and Company in 2020 um, said that both individuals and educators must acquire this digital competency on the use of ICT effectively in the future. So, meaning that study investigated the digital technological in e-learning to determine if there is a significant difference between these three cohorts in terms of the different profile variables and determining if there is a significant relationship between this concept. So teachers with a less than 10 years of experience may be techno savvy or technologically inclined. That's according to the claim of Abelli and La Rosa in 2023. But, it was found that digital literacy and digital competence were closely associated with what we call the pre-education features, access to ICT as resources, and there is a positive attitude towards using the ICT. So meaning that according to Basilio Totas and Gomez, Pablo, and company in 2022, that teachers in higher education are very conscious on the limitation and recognizing this low and medium low digital competencies as well as the lack of ICT competencies. And my presentation this afternoon is anchored with what we call the Technology Acceptance Model or TAM, which is examine the different factors influencing the digital, technological, and e-learning. So TAM acknowledged that education adoption of ICT in the classroom is very, very significant, specifically in utilizing and the simplicity of its use, according to Konovalova and company in 2021. So with this, while there is a correlation between the teachers and learning competencies in terms of the confidence and the perception of ICT tools in the classroom, that's according to Mabruk and the company in 2018, between the teachers' ICT digital competencies, whether it is digital, whether it is technological, or the e-learning competence as the key predictors of this ICT implementation in the different universities, colleges, and even local colleges and universities. That's according to Barrio and company in 2022. Moving on, according to Akram and company in 2022, those teachers were generally in favor of using the technology because in the classroom there are different barriers that we need to that we need to settle down. Like for example, the load shedding, slow internet connection, lack of infrastructure, inexperienced online teachers, and of course, there is an inadequate ICT training. But according to Garcia and company in 2020, the limitation of this digital e-learning and what we call the implementation or competencies in terms of the teacher's instruction has been attributed to skill competence and the computer technologies. So again, we need to corroborate that there are different obstacles to integrating digital technology in the university teaching and pinpoint these common ones according to Mercader and Garin in 2020. But according to Gumbao and company in 2016, creative teachers who got institutional support for utilizing digital technology suffer when there are no strange in a place in the classroom. So meaning on the contrary of this presentation, due to unsustainable support and dissatisfaction, the e-learning competences has been unsuccessfully in industrialized country, developing countries, and what we call middle class countries like India, Pakistan, Nepal, Jordan, Libya, and the Philippines. That's according to Singh and Shivatab and Company in 2020, Abbas and Company in 2020, according to Atria and Company in 2020, Al Balas in 2020, Al Sopi Al Aishi and Company in 2020, and Baticolon and C and Company in 2021. So meaning in this study, I used the quantitative research with a different adaptive questionnaire, 384 respondents, using the Rousseau calculator. That's an online, calculator. And then I also use a reliability test, to prove that this callback output of 0.95 is congruent and with the highest level of consistency. I also use the 5-point Likert scale, and I also use the Shapiro web test for a non-parametric result, Wallis or Kalmanoglu same move test to test the difference in their study, and also test the relationship with the zero point 0.5 alpha level. So here comes now the results. The results of this study on e-learning and digital and technological competencies have highest level and competencies in our education institution among educators. In terms of the statistics, there are no appreciable differences between these three cohorts when profile variables are used. Another thing that educators in higher education institution have very higher level of digital and technological competencies. So educators in higher education institutions in the Philippines, including the state-owned universities or the government agencies, private universities, and community colleges, possess very higher learning competencies. So meaning educators in higher institutions in the Philippines are highly skilled in terms of digital and technological competencies. So the last but not the least, there is no significant difference between the technological and e-learning competencies when profile variables are grouped. There is no significant relationship between these three cohorts and the frequency of use of the computer desktop. In Manila, the Philippines is set an example. So in this presentation, as a result, digital, technological, and learning competences influenced all aspects of academic, including direct evolution of many changes among educators in terms of utilizing the ICT or information and communications technology as the best teaching practices, not only in the Philippines, in Pakistan, and also in the entire world. So thank you so much for this presentation, and I look forward to learn something about the digital, technological, and e-learning competencies among educators in higher education in the Philippines. Thank you so much. Sukriya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gaeta. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor, another of our esteemed keynote speaker, an esteemed guest, who is Mr. Mohammad Idris, currently serving as the VP and CCO at Angro Polymer and Chemicals Limited, with a wealth of experience spanning over 2 decades within the Angro Group. Mr. Idris has demonstrated remarkable leadership and expertise across various sectors. Previously, he spearheaded the Business Development Department at Angro Energy, where his efforts were pivotal in identifying and cultivating new business opportunities within the energy sector, including ventures in renewables and allied industries. His journey within the Angro Group began in 2003 in his fertilizers business, where he held diverse roles. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Mohammad Idris, whose accomplishments and dedication continue to inspire us.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Thank you, ma'am. I'm Mohammad Idris, and I've been part of this amazing. I don't call it a company. It's basically a phenomena, Angro, which is basically energy for growth. And much before this word sustainability came into the dictionary, Angro was always used to be green and having different, brands with the name of subs and subs PVC and all those things. I'm finding it difficult to sort of gather my thoughts because such world-renowned people in front of me in the audience, and I'm humbled and privileged to be part of the speakers panel, and I'm grateful to the university, SZABIST, who's been producing some amazing resources for the industry and for the development of our country, and keep producing the amazing resources that you've been doing. And inshallah, we as industry would love to be part of the journey that you've embarked on. And for me, sir, as you termed as youth energy, that's such an amazing, learning for me for the day. I think, in fact, for the whole month, this is something that we've never thought about. I would like to thank especially Dr. Shehnaz Wazir Ali, Dr. Iram Zaidi, Dr. Altaf Mukati, Dr. Sara Wali Kazi, and Dr. Shumaila Kashif. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here. So, and we have a platform with the name of Think PVC. And Think PVC is, we want to call it Amazon of PVC, which means that PVC is not only about the white color pipes that we normally think about. PVC is almost everywhere. If we look around, I think 60% of the application is made out of PVC, be it the PVC windows or the doors, roofing and flooring. And I'll prove it to you how is it an innovative and sustainable material. Before that, there's a small story that I wanted to tell you. So there's a great friend of mine, an accomplished entrepreneur. But as the entrepreneurs are, so he was to attend an expo in Karachi. So Lahore se wo Karachi aaye, and instead of going to a hotel, he thought of renting a house somewhere close to the Dolmen Mall. And the house was empty, owned by one of his friends. So he went in there. There was Sunday evening. He went into the bathroom, found it difficult कि वो दरवाज़ा जो है बंद नहीं हो रहा था. तो जैसे हमारी आदत होती है, तो उन्होंने ज़ोर लगा के दरवाज़ा बंद कर दिया. And when he tried to open that door, the door was not going to open. Incidentally, it was June, July time frame, lot of humidity, and as it happens, most of these chipboards and wooden doors, those get swollen and get stuck, and you always find a carpenter to sort of shave off some of the extended parts. But sometimes the things become so, worrisome कि वो दरवाज़ा नहीं खुल रहा था. He tried to pull with, but instead जो handle है वो उनके हाथ में आ गया. And it's empty house. Sunday evening, he is to attend the conference on Monday. Nobody's there. And then, his family and friends started calling. So, story hai, I wanted to, I can extend it, but I'll tell you the right time. So, he stayed in that room in that bathroom for 12 hours. And then somebody came in and rescued it. So now it's a simple thing, PVC gives you a solution to this problem as well. What normally हमारे जो business है उसमें doctor साहिबान जो हैं वो architects को कहते हैं. So architects need material which is as good as a natural looking material, gives you the look and feel of natural material, but should have the properties like waterproof, termite proof, fire retardant, like any other better material. So now PVC is giving you these composite materials, which is wood plastic composite. And how does the sustainability part comes into it? It is manufactured out of the wooden waste. You don't have to cut the trees. जो लकड़ी का बुरादा है वो आता है, and then you mix it with PVC, and then you make WPC doors, which are becoming so popular these days. And we'll show you a video at the end of my speech, and we would also request you to visit our store at Bukhari Commercial whenever you have time, and we'll also have a collaboration with SZABIST. Similarly, the other part is energy conservation, sustainability. The first thing that, before you get into the green energy and all that, what we need to see is what is our energy consumption at this point in time. And a study tells us that up to 40% of that consumption can be done through the energy conservation part. So stone plastic composite is another part where flooring is made. and it is produced consuming 1/6 of the energy that is consumed for a ceramic tile. And similarly, there are a number of materials like PVC windows, which can conserve you 30% of the power requirement versus aluminum windows and all those things. So it's not only for the marketing part, but also for the sustainability part. As you go on conserving the energy, you go on towards the sustainable roadmap as well. So with that, thank you very much for listening to us. Inshallah, we'll keep we'll make sure that we have a stronger collaboration with SZABIST, inshallah, sir, and we'll make sure that we have we make a roadmap together with you to go forward as well. And with that, I would request for you to watch a short video on Think PVC, and also give us the opportunity to visit us. That's right in front of S. Abdullah and besides Interwood at Bukhari Commercial. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today and to introduce our esteemed chief guest for this conference, Dr. Ishrat Hussain. Dr. Ishrat Hussain is the HEC Distinguished Professor and the former Governor of the State Bank of Pakistan, as well as the former Dean of IBA Karachi. Dr. Ishrat Hussain was until recently advisor to the Prime Minister on institutional reforms and austerity with the status of Federal Minister. He also have been awarded Nishan-e-Imtiaz in 2016. I would like to warmly welcome with all of our praise and applause Dr. Ishrat Hussain.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's a great pleasure to be here this afternoon. And I want to, first of all, thank Shahnaz Wazir Ali, the deans, and the members of the organizing committee of this conference for providing me this opportunity to share my thoughts on this very important topic. Let me put this whole theme into the perspective of what the global mega trends are, because I see a lot of students here and they will be confronted with these mega trends as they enter their professional careers. The first and the foremost is that the wave of globalization, which started in 1990 and ended by the induction of Trump in the United States by 2016, and which lifted 1.2 billion people out of poverty in developing countries, is no longer going to be as intense or as powerful as it was during those 25 years. So we have to prepare for a world where the forces of modernization of developing countries are not going to have the tailwinds they used to have. Number two, the geopolitical balance of power, economic power, is shifting. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, there was one hegemonic power in the world, which was the United States. But the rise of China has become a challenge for the monopoly of the United States of America. And therefore, this tension between the United States and China is going to affect not only their bilateral relations, but also countries such as Pakistan and other developing countries in many ways. Number three, there is a significant demographic change. Some of us are not very happy with our population increase, but you would be surprised that while all other countries in the world, particularly in Europe, Japan, Korea, and the United States, are going to have aging population. The only reservoir of working adults is going to be South Asia and Africa. And now, even Japan and Korea, which have been monolithic, ethnically superior nations which protected their culture and their values, are forced to invite the foreign workers from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh to come and work there. The Japanese government actually asked government of Pakistan to provide them 30,000 IT professionals by 2030. And this trend is not only going to be only in Japan, but Korea is also the next in line because it is also negative population growth. So while we have been all lamenting that population has been a serious problem for Pakistan, in this demographic shift, actually this dividend of our youth is going to become beneficial provided we train and educate these young men and women to meet the demands not only of the Pakistan economy, but also of the global economy. The Philippines has a much higher per capita remittance as compared to Pakistan because the migrants from Philippines are either semi-skilled or skilled, while those from Pakistan are 95% unskilled. That will make the difference as far as your remittances and foreign exchange earnings are concerned. The fourth trend, which is the topic, and I don't want to dwell upon it because you have heard so much about, is the technological revolution. Artificial intelligence, robotics, quantum computing, all those Internet of Things, they are going to make a huge difference. While some of us are very apprehensive of the artificial intelligence, but I would submit to you that for developing countries, artificial intelligence can be a very positive aid to growth and development. You have AI tutors who can cater to the individual needs of a student. All the students do not have, in the same class, do not have the same, intellectual quotient. But AI tutor would go and try to bring that individual up to the average of the class. That is an investment which you really can help in improving the educational quality of your labor force. Health. I went to a telehealth clinic in civil hospital run by an NGO, and the young female doctors who normally withdraw themselves from the labor force after graduation were sitting from their home and guiding a doctor in Matiari Hospital as to what they should be doing with the patient. So remote areas of Pakistan are getting help from qualified doctors, and our highly educated female labor force in medical profession is also getting, gainfully employed. Agriculture. I have visited Daska, Okara, Jhang, where I saw that progressive farmers are using satellite imaging and sensors in order to find out what the nutrient content is, when to apply the fertilizer, what kind of fertilizer to be used, how much water should be used, because otherwise we irrigate this with flooding and we are wasting very scarce resource. But with the help of these sensors, and you have the mobile phone, because everybody has a mobile phone, and you can give instructions to the farmer, even an illiterate farmer, that this is what you should be doing today. And this is what the weather is going to be for the next few days. So the productivity of agriculture can actually improve by using the artificial intelligence and the sensors and the satellite imaging. In education, health, and agriculture, these are the sectors which are very critical for inclusive, sustainable growth for Pakistan. But more important is the fintech, which is the digital finance, because Pakistan is suffering from exclusion of the women from the access to financial services. But if you have digital finance, that is a tool whereby you can reach the women quite easily and allow them to empower financially. And once you empower them financially, a lot of social problems which arise also disappear. I was in Bangladesh 2 months ago for the launch of my book, which is India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, 1947 to 2022, and I visited some of the garment factories. 80% were women. And I was told that the incidence of domestic violence among these employed women had drastically declined because the man is very much dependent on the women's earnings, and that's the family earnings which together they invest in education, in health, in nutrition of their children, and cleanliness and others. So there is an interdependence which is very good for harmony in the family. So that is the collateral benefit for empowering women, both socially as well as economically. And I said to you earlier, the whole concept of growth today, it has to be inclusive, which means that you include the gender, you include the remote areas, you include the poor and marginalized population. That is inclusive growth. You must have sustainable growth, whereby you are conserving your water resources, you are conserving your energy resources, and you are conserving your soil resources, because land is what provides us most of the food. So what you are trying to do is to preserve all these resources, and that is a part of the sustainable resources and sustainable growth. And finally, I would like to say to this younger audience, you don't have a guaranteed employment in the future. You have to become employable, which means that you have to learn all the time throughout your career. You won't be in one company like all of us used to do at our. We joined a company, or we joined a civil service, or we joined a university, and that is it. No. The jobs which existed 5 years ago do not exist anymore. And the jobs which are going to exist in 5 years from now, we do not know what those jobs are. So ye rectification, memorization, reproduction at the exam, chasing the grades, chasing the degrees, इससे काम नहीं बनेगा. ये यहाँ पर आपने नॉलेज को एब्जॉर्ब करना है और उसको अप्लाई करना है और प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना है, फिर आपकी कदर होगी, फिर आपको नौकरी मिलेगी, वरना आप किसी काबिल नहीं होंगे. Creativity curiosity, and adaptability. These are the attributes which I want you to imbibe in yourself, and I can assure you, you will be very successful in your future. Thank you very much for asking me to be here. It was a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishrat Hussain, for your remarkable speech. Now we proceed towards the memento distribution ceremony. I would like to invite on the stage Madam President SZABIST University, Madam Shehnaz Wazir Ali, Conference Patron and VP Academic Professor Dr. Mohammad Altaf Muqati, VP Admin and HR Mr. Imtiaz Qazi, VP Development and Finance Madam Nasreen Haq, to present mementos to our esteemed keynote speakers and guest of honors. At first, we would like to give memento to our honorable chief guest, Dr. Ishrat Hussain. Can I please invite you to the stage? I'd request Dr. Ishrat Hussain to please join our higher officials to please present mementos to guest of honors. In order of their presentations, I request Professor Dr. Mujibuddin Sehrai Memon to please approach the stage to receive their memento. Mr. Saiduddin, could you please approach the stage to receive your memento? Mr. Khan is the President and CEO of Asaf Microfinance Bank, who is also the Platinum sponsor of SZABIST University International Conference. Mr. Mohammad Idris, could you please approach the stage to receive your memento? Mr. Idris, being the VP and CCO of Engro Polymer and Chemicals Limited, they are also the gold sponsor of SZABIST University International Conference. Moving forward, in order to close this conference, we cannot go without acknowledging the untiring efforts of SIC2 Organizing Committee. First acknowledgement goes to our conference patron, who is also standing here with us on the stage, Professor Dr. Mohammad Altaf Muqati, who will be receiving the memento of appreciation. Our conference chair, Dr. Mohammad Nishad, could you please approach the stage? Conference co-chair, Dr. Sarah Wali Qazi, who is head of Research Center, FMS Karachi. Conference co-chair Dr. Zahida Abro, who is the head of campus, Larkana. Conference co-chair Mr. Vijay Kumar, who is the head of campus, Gharo campus. Conference secretary Dr. Shumaila Kashif. Oh. Editorial board Dr. Salman Ahmed Sheikh. Editorial board co-chair Dr. Irshad Hussain. Organizing committee team lead Dr. Rana Naeem Akhtar. Program schedule team leader Ms. Aisha Latif Sheikh. Program schedule co-team leaders Ms. Seema Kamran and Dr. Asma Rahim.
Event Management Team Leader, Dr. Sumaira Shahid. Event Management Co-Team Leader, Dr. Momna Niazi. Stage Management Team Leader, Ms. Ikra Anwar Shah. Stage Management Co-Team Leader, Ms. Tahira Adil Zaman. Logistics and Administration Team Leader, Dr. Muhammad Mujtaba. Logistics and Administration Co-Team Leader, Dr. Muhammad Ali Faisal. Business Development Team Leader, Dr. Javed Ahmed Qureshi. Business Development Co-Team Leader, Dr. Iram Zaidi. Marketing and Media Management Team Leader, Ms. Myra Junejo. Marketing and Media Management Co-Team Leader, Mr. Masood Mahmood and Mr. Bashir Ahmed.
Our marketing and media management team, the co-leaders, Mr. Masood Ahmed, Mr. Masood Mahmood, and Mr. Bashir Ahmed. Finance team co-leader, Dr. Asra Sheikh. Now I would request everyone to please sit on their seats. I just request Madam President to just stay on the stage for her closing remarks of the conference 2024.
I have to now go get my speech. There's a pencil down there. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's a great honor and privilege for me to say a few words at the end of this SZABIST University International Conference, which has had an absolutely amazing, remarkable theme, quite an unusual theme. And we have also had a series of panel discussions, opening addresses, research papers, presentations, and a lot of very stimulating discussions around the theme of disruption and innovation, empowered change via sustainability. It's on behalf of the three vice presidents, Vice President Dr. Altaf Mukherjee, Vice President Imtiaz Qazi Saab, and Vice President Madam Nasreen Haq, as well as on behalf of our Chancellor, Dr. Ashraf Hazrat Petra, I'd like to particularly thank the eminent speakers who were here for the closing session, Dr. Professor Mujib, excuse me, Mujibuddin Sarai Mehman Sahab, Vice Chancellor of Sindh Madrasatul Islam, Mr. Said Ahmed, CEO of ASA Microfinance, Dr. Gaeta, who is with us from the Philippines, from the Christian University of the Philippines, and Mr. Muhammad Idris, who's one of the sponsors, gold sponsors for this conference from Engro Polymer and Chemicals Limited, and of course our very, very eminent chief guest, Dr. Ishrat Hussain, who's extremely well known in Pakistan, not only for the leadership that he gave to IBA, but for his role as the Governor, State Bank of Pakistan, as well as his deep interest and his abiding interest in development and governance, finance, economy, and the social structures of Pakistan. And he has written, he's the author of several books, and the recent book that he alluded to. So Dr. Ishrat Hussain, it's a great pleasure for us to have you here today. I also want to take a moment to thank our eminent international speakers, Dr. Eva Ruth, who's a specialist really on sustainability and development from the University of Southern Denmark, and also Dr. Prem Meghwar, who is from the Business School of the University of Virginia. This has been a multi-sectoral, multi-departmental conference. Multiple faculties have been involved in it, and I greatly appreciate the effort that has been made by every single faculty that's represented here, from management science, life sciences, from social sciences, from education, and from AI in particular, Dr. Sajjad, because the theme right through has been disruption and innovation, and a lot of discussions on AI have taken place. So this is a combined effort in which we have seen leaders from industry, from government, specialized experts, professionals, academicians, and researchers who who have participated in what I would call a highly unusual conference because of the theme. The theme, many people asked me, we don't quite understand what you mean disruption to innovation. We do understand sustainability, but we don't understand empowered change to sustainability. These are notions that we really need to delve into, and Dr. Mukherjee and I have actually discussed this on a couple of occasions. And I would say that in some of our panel discussions, there were significant ideas that in fact spoke to and addressed these very issues. So when we talked about disruption, there were certain panels that talked about the disruption of several systems, processes, as well as the need for disruption and the deconstruction of knowledge. And that struck me as a particularly outstanding notion, because all of us deal with the business of knowledge, either knowledge creation or knowledge communication. So the disruption of knowledge for us as an academic community seemed to be a very significant area which we need to study more. Because if huge changes are taking place in the world, which we talked about the ethical dimensions of disruption and innovation. We talked about society and the impact of society. We talked about the nexus and the intersections between strategy, purpose, business, profitability, and value. This was some of the themes that resonated through several other areas. We also talked about a better understanding of how AI can be used in education. All of these are areas that are disrupting what we traditionally know and how we traditionally operate. So for us to think about deconstruction and reconstruction, disruption and innovation, these, I think, were the thought processes that were presented here in different areas. We had excellent sessions on health and sustainability, talked about from the public health department. There were eminent speakers, both from government and non-governmental sectors. I'm not doing justice to all our panelists because I don't want to take time again to name every single speaker that was here, but we really had outstanding panelists. And I want to compliment every single department who put together the panels which came from all the different faculties which I have just mentioned. The panelists were really exceptional. Preeminent economists, strategists, government representatives, professionals, non-governmental sector, the development sector, and many sectors which looked deeply at certain areas, such as, for example, the education sector, which talked about the new construct, which needed a better, deeper understanding, which is the public-private arrangement. The sourcing out of government work and government contracting has become quite a big feature today. So really we're learning at how do you change systems, how do you bring about change. So frankly speaking, I think that there's a need for us to understand how change can lead to sustainability, because sustainability means to do something and to sustain it continuously. So if you're going to disrupt it and change it, how can you have sustainability? But these things were actually addressed in many of our sessions, and they were quite very, very interesting sessions. We talked about advancements in AI and technology, about applications. We talked about deep learning networks, talked about market-based analysis, decision-making processes, how to use data. The social sciences track of this conference talked about gender, talked about the trans and interdisciplinary and intersectoral nature of empowerment of women and gender issues that cut across practically everything in Pakistan. We also talked about the serious economic uncertainties in Pakistan, and which are leading to a huge challenge of climate change, resilience and the impact of climate change and environmental disasters on many areas, which I think in Sindh we are very familiar with because of the exceptional floods and the impact that it has had on millions of children, no, millions of families. We also talked about lifelong learning patterns and what are the drivers as well as the barriers in providing sustainable supply chain management and sustainable business practices. Resilience was a theme that went through several of our panel sessions. How can Pakistan and its society, its decision makers become resilient in the face of a changing world scenario? I think that this conference has done something actually quite distinctive. And our deans who've worked hard on organizing this conference, Dean Management Science, Dr. Nishat, Dean Dr. Kashif Ali, Dean Dr. Riaz Sheikh, and Dr. Imran Amin, guided by Dr. Altaf Mukati, have put together such eminent groups and thinkers. I would like to make a suggestion here that an international conference should not be seen as an exercise of 2 days only, because a number of ideas have been placed before us. They have been discussed in a limited time frame of an hour or an hour and a half. And my faculty is sitting here, all the different faculties from different departments, and I'm very pleased to see some students here also from the MS programs. What we hope to do at SZABIST is to take forward some of these critical areas that were addressed and perhaps turn them into a series of roundtable discussions with a selected group of our specialists who came and a few other people who can sit around the round table and come together, to think more deeply and address issues much more deeply and come up with a set of recommendations for government so that you can have industry, government, as well as academia and researchers sit together, which is something that we've always been trying to do. But here, in these 2 days, I think this is a good opportunity because we heard exceptional speakers. Let us invite them to SZABIST. Let's create 4 or 5 roundtables, and let those roundtables meet 3 or 4 times a year and come up in about 8 months' time with an analysis as well as a set of recommendations that we can present to government. Then at least we will have become relevant. It is not just brilliant discussions and absolutely very, very interesting, stimulating, thought-provoking questions and discussions, but it's something that has relevance to people who are outside this hall, to decision makers. So I would strongly suggest that, and I leave that as a thought with all of you from all my different departments. Let us have roundtables after this and take on board all our other campuses as well and take forward this very theme, dig deeper, analyze more, and we hope that SZABIST can make a contribution towards improvement of the Sustainable Development Goals and better delivery, because almost every panel has at the heart of it the SDGs. The education sector panels, the health, artificial intelligence, development, SDGs, this was a cross-cutting team. So if Pakistan wants to deliver on the 7 priority goals out of the 17, let's focus on that, in which the financing systems, the implementation systems, structures of government, policy frameworks all have a major role. I also want to thank, and in particular, since Sonu Kangrani Saab is here and Said Saab is here, the microfinance team, because microfinance is a very, very important intervention where Pakistan is doing some exceptional work. And the footprint of microfinance is beginning to have an impact on changing the financial, social, employment, and livelihood status of many, many families in Pakistan. So wide-ranging discussions. My apologies if I have not covered many of the important points that were presented, and for not acknowledging everyone who has contributed here. But I do want to acknowledge our Masters of Ceremony, which is Ahmad Maurice Saab and Ikra, and also Dr. Sarab Ali Qazi, as well as Dr. Shumaila in particular, I think, who played a very important and lead role in this conference. I would like to thank each and every one of you. I know that you've been wonderful participants, wonderful. You've been here throughout, you have listened to the paper presentations, and you have engaged very thoughtfully with the issues, the concepts, and also with the speakers. So it's really my pleasure, privilege, and honor to have our eminent guests, concluding addressees here, as well as all of you here, because you are the future for Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Could we please request all our officials to please come on stage and have a group photo, starting from our chief guest, Ishrat Sahab, Dr. Ishrat, all the keynote speakers and guest of honors, Madam Shanaz, Dr. Mukati, Imtiaz Sahab, Madam Nasreen. I'd also like to invite our international speakers, Ms. Eva Roth, Dr. Prem Mengwar. Could you please join us on stage? Our microfinance team, panelists from the microfinance. Thank you so much, guests. SZABIST officials, can we please have SZABIST organizing committee at the front of the stage, please? Everyone would like to take a picture with the officials here. So whoever is available from the organizing committee of the conference, can you please gather here? Dr. Nishad,